By popular demand, today we're going fancy. I've been asked several times, show me some of the fancier neighborhoods of Nashville. Now, we've got lots of fancy neighborhoods. Today I'm going to concentrate on two here in Davidson County. Put in the comments, where do you think I'm going to be going if you know so much about Nashville? See you on the other side. Welcome back. I'm Susan Thetford with eXp Realty, a realtor here in the Nashville area and one of the few remaining native Nashvillians. My father grew up at this school right behind me here on West End. If you've guessed, today we're talking about fanciest neighborhoods in Nashville. And as you know, if you have been watching my channel for long, Nashville is a huge area. As a matter of fact, it's 8-county SMSA. So when somebody says I'm moving to Nashville, they may well be moving to Mount Juliet or Hendersonville or down into Williamson County, Franklin. So many different areas around Nashville that we just kind of encompass into the whole word of Nashville. I get it. But today what we're going to do is talk about some of the fanciest neighborhoods in Davidson County. Now, Nashville, Tennessee is the capital of Tennessee, and it is in Davidson County. We are very close to the Nashville downtown area at the capital. We're about 15 minutes away. Today we're going to show you two of quite a few very fancy neighborhoods in Davidson County. And then if you want to know about more fancy areas, I can show you lots of them in other counties. Today we're going to talk about of my very favorite. As you know, my father even grew up right here, way back in the early 20s, going to this school behind me, West End High School. It is now still a high school. It is the public high school for those students who belong here and live here in this area, but it's also a giant park. In front of me is a soccer game going on, behind me is a football game going on. It is a community park, and that is just one of the reasons that it's such a wonderful area. If info about Nashville and the Nashville area is important to you and you're really doing your research and thinking about moving to Nashville, I suggest you go ahead and subscribe to this show. Each week we show you new areas, talk about new things, the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you know me, I'm going to tell it straight. I love about each area and what's maybe not so great, who it's for and who it's not for. So if that's for you, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, tap the bell so you will be notified every time we drop a new video. So if you couldn't guess, this is pretty much a historic area of Nashville because it is so close. Giving you a little bit of history, West End area takes you straight into downtown. It eventually merges with Hillsborough Road and 21st Avenue to become Broadway. When you go on down into right at the riverfront, and that's where all the honky tonks are and all the huge nightlife area. We've moved on down past 440 Loop. The 440 Loop takes you around downtown Nashville, so you don't have to go through downtown if you don't want to. We're just on the outside of that 440 Loop, moving down West End Avenue, which eventually will become Harding Road. I've told you many times, our streets change names. But we're in the two different areas we're going to take a look at today are historically zoned areas. On the north side is the Richland Central area, and on the west side of West End is the Whitland area. Now, my father was living here. This West End area was 5 lanes. That middle lane that's now the turning lane used to be streetcars. This is about as far out of town as the streetcars came. And that's why this is one of the areas that was last settled with people who had, pretty darn good money. It's also an area full of a lot of churches. It also has the synagogues because if you were Orthodox Jewish, you had to walk to synagogue on Saturdays. So it was very highly thought of, great place that a lot of Orthodox Jewish people like to live. Then, as of today, the reasons that people love the area is big part convenience. As I said, those streetcars move down to here. So it's a great area to get easy access into town, but still have a little bit more breathing room in lot sizes. Back in the 20s, as now, people loved the area because of primarily convenience to downtown. The easy transit, then with the streetcars, now with bus service and easy access into town. Now most people do Ubers or Lyfts, still have cars. If you live in this area, you're probably going to have a car. But the ease of convenience, so close to the work and so close to some of the great public schools that are right here in this area. Also, some of the private schools that you may have heard of are up and down this corridor. Innsworth, MBA Boys School, St. Cecilia in Overbrook, Aquinas campus. Then you also got the businesses. St. Thomas West Hospital now is within a block or two of this area. Lots of good condominium living. So you can have single family homes, not inexpensive, but single family homes and condominiums, townhomes is mainly what you're going to find here. You do have some commercial on the outskirts, but it's not inside of this historic area. One of the other things people love about it so much is the sidewalk streets. So you have mature trees, mature landscaping. You also have a lot of difference in character of the homes. You've got four squares, you've got bungalows, and I'll tell you what, some of those bungalows will really surprise you. They may have been originally built modestly, but they have been added onto and expanded quite a bit. For those of you wanting a basement, this is one of the few areas that you can likely find a basement, even though the area is pretty flat. The reason for that is, of course, it was developed at a time that people were building basements as fallout shelters. So you can still find many basements that are dug out. Now, very few have a lot of daylight in those basements, but there's some that have been really nicely fitted out and great living space. But if you are one of those people really wanting a basement, then this might be a place for you. Okay, fun fact. Have you ever heard of the Sears and Roebuck houses? This is one of the kit houses that was built in the 40s, I believe, from a Sears and Roebuck kit. I have heard how much they paid for it, and it comes with the walls, it came with the appliances, it came with everything. That house is still standing, strong, tall, and wonderful right here today. I've got to admit, I still have a massive fondness for this area. Now, I'm on Central Avenue. Central is one major street that runs parallel to Richland, which runs parallel to West End. I'm on Central. The very first house that I ever bought when I was a young adult was one of these little bitty, I'm about to walk by it. How do you act like you're nonchalantly walking by it? But this tiny little cottage was the first house that I bought. Now, it needed both bathrooms to be redone, and it needed a whole lot of work, but isn't it the cutest thing ever? I can't really tell you that I've seen anything different, except they painted the door because I had it red. But I love that little cottage. I could walk on these sidewalks every single evening or run. Such a great community, such a great neighborhood that frankly I'd really miss in many ways because of the convenience, because it's just such a quaint area, and you walk down the street and you meet people that you wouldn't have known otherwise. There's a house that's a 4-square up the street that I remember helping one of the neighbors when they were remodeling that house, helping them pull out all the carpet and to see all the hardwood floors. It was a big 4-square. In the 70s, this area was not an area that people wanted to be in. As a matter of fact, 2 streets over had been redlined, which means that they couldn't get a loan for properties prior to, it was a long time ago. 70s is ancient history to most of you, but it wasn't far from here that you actually could not even get a loan because it was considered dangerous. A lot of the big 4-squares in this area had been used and cut up and used as rental properties as people moved further and further outside of town. It's just not that long ago, maybe 25 years ago, that people started moving back into town. Maybe it's because of the traffic, maybe for who knows reasons, convenience, all the reasons. But at that point, most of these houses had been used as rental properties, especially if they were 4-squares. A lot of Vanderbilt students, a lot of doctors residents were using them as rental properties, and they were really pretty sad shape. Boy, have times changed. But when I was here, it was pretty darn affordable and a wonderful place to live. It still is. If you are looking for a front porch culture where it's friendly, where it's walkable neighborhoods, people walking up and down the sidewalks, a lot of porch parties, phenomenal Halloween. No, actually don't live here if you don't want to buy hundreds of dollars of Halloween candy, because they do Halloween right here. But if that's the type of living that you want and you have the budget for it, then this may well be the perfect place for you in the Richland historic West End community. Hey, tap that bell. You don't know where we're going next week. It may be something fancier.